What's up, it's Burst, and we're here with week, 8 of the MDL, this time against Dina. And we have a fairly interesting week because I was expecting, or Dina typically brings like the same, say, 6 mons, or the same 5 mons, or maybe 4, and then something else, right? So we see a Clefable, Rotom, Guzzlord, Espeon, Rune, and Articuno. So Espeon and Guzzlord are the main things that are like out of the ordinary, especially over the Cinderace slot. So I'm like, okay, whoa, what are we gonna do here? And the main thing I realized is I have nothing to deal with the Guzzlord, and this is a very smart prep from very smart prep from Dina. She essentially is calling out the fact that Guzzlord is really the only thing on this team that really doesn't like ice damage, other than say Radius. But Guzzlord is the main thing you're going to be packing ice damage on if you can help it. So, Guzzlord is the only thing you're going to be packing ice damage for if you want it. So, off the bat, I have to figure out, like, okay, how am I going to deal with this? So first, I think I decided I have 8 seconds apparently. I think I decided I want to go for the Naganadel lead, see if I can blitz it out, or maybe take out one thing. Maybe, say, the Clefable. If I can take out the Clefable very early, then I'm in a very good position for, say, I don't know, to get the Guzzlord out, and then if I can blitz that down, I'm in a really good spot. So we see the Clefable Runerigus here. And I can tell, okay, it's Trick Room, so I'm not gonna max my idea is I'm gonna try blitzing down this Runerigus, if at all possible. So, I think what I decided to do here is I Fake Tears the Rune, and I Sludge Bomb into the Clef. And essentially, if it doesn't follow me, then I get a really clear idea of I get a very clear idea of what this Clefable build is. And if it does follow me, then we get Clefable out, like, turn 1, and we can just deal with it, okay? So, Dina goes for the Double Protect, just trying to scout us out, I guess. Which, to be honest, against this lead, I would too. Totally valid. It will also probably be stalling out, say, a turn of max, if I decide to go for a turn 1 max. But because of that, I'm in a weird spot. I now don't know what this Runerigus is going to do. Is it going to set up Trick Room? Or is it going to... Is it going to say, I don't know, max and go for a very offensive Runerigus set? Which, especially against this lead, is going to be very it's going to be very effective in shutting down my Naganadel, which against this Clefable is like the one thing it wants to do. So, again, this is game 1. I have no clue what's in the back. So I decide I'm going to go for a Reflect in case it's something like say a Max Rune. If it's a Max Rune, I can probably take a hit decently well. And then the Max Ooze is going to tell me what the exact set is on this Clefable. So, Clefable goes for the Follow Me. And nothing special here. We can expect something like a Trick Room since it's not maxing. And then, of course, the Max Ooze does come out. And based off the damage output, we do see that this is a max special defense, max HP Clefable, Calm Nature. So, basically what's expected when I have a Naganadel. And a Magnezone. And we also do see that it's not Kibia Berry. So, I'm pretty free here to say I can Fake Tears into the Rune, I can set up a Light Screen. I decided to set up a Light Screen here And then I could go for another max ooze into the Clefable. And once I do this, I will be +3 for my special attack. And we are in a very good offensive position. Only issue being that we will be moving last. And to top that, Dina makes a very, very, very smart play of going for the Dazzling Gleam, which does break the stash on my Naganadel. So, because I'm not running something like Habanberry, I cannot take a hit from a Guzzlord anymore. Anything that comes out and does a lot of big damage to me, I just cannot take. I also don't have something like Protect on my Naganadel. So yeah, I'm not in the greatest of spots. Now, this is where my first massive misplay comes in, because of course the Guzzlord does come out, and we see the room service on it, so it is going to be one of the fastest things on the field, or one of the first things moving. And so now I have to think, okay, what am I gonna do here at this point? I don't have anything offensive with the Morgrim. Now I'm really trying to check, okay, what's Trick Room? Oh yeah, I didn't check that. I'm checking it now. So 3 turns on Trick Room, so horrible spot. And my big misplay here is that I just stay in with the Naganadel, and essentially what that does is I die to Guzzlord. This Guzzlord is going to max and just address the threat. I don't know what I was thinking there. I think I was panicked. I was like, okay, maybe she's gonna be like going for the Morgrim. But then I realized that Guzzlord's a dark type and Prankster doesn't matter. And there's a million reasons why you should just go for the Naganadel. And I just didn't do anything. So we do see the fake tears come out onto the Naganadel, which will guarantee that I don't live this hit. And we see the Whirlwind do come out. Or the Whirlwind does come out, takes the kill on Naganadel. And I have no way of really hitting this Guzzlord. And so I'm in an awful position. And now I really have to figure out what is my game plan at this point. Now that Guzzlord does have the special attack boost, I can bring in Sceptile or Magnezone. I believe Magnezone is what I want to bring in. Mind you, I'm running Akaberry in case of the the Cinderace, because I did prep pretty hard. Oh, I bring in Sceptile, that's it. And yeah, what I think I'm doing here is that I'm going to try stalling out as long as possible this Trick Room. Obviously not the play. I should have gone straight for the kill on Darun, to be honest. But either way, I go for the stupid fake tears onto the Guzzlord. And Darkness comes out onto the Sceptile. It doesn't, like, do anything. Like, I wasn't paying attention. If it did go for the fake tears, good for them. If it didn't go for the fake tears, well, I should have just Leaf Stormed. But at this point, yeah, I'm just gonna be spamming fake tears into the rune. And oh yeah, no, I try switching into the Magnezone here, because I'm like, yeah, I want to save my Sceptile for the end. But Magnezone was going to be my win con against this Guzzlord, so I kind of screwed that. Yeah. So we do see Magnezone come out, fake tears onto the Magnezone, and probably a Max Wormwind or Darkness into it, and it takes the kill. I played that extremely poorly. I should have just, I mean, I should have stayed in, but also something was going to die there, and it was just if I was going to choose the Sceptile or the Magnezone. And whatever my endgame was my endgame. Actually, what I could have done is switched in. I could have switched out the Morgrum a couple turns ago into the Magnezone, and then switched out the Sceptile for the Morgrum to get more fake out pressure. And so at this point, I could get the Morgrum faking out into the Guzzlord, and then the Magnezone can just freely Steel Beam into the Guzzlord and take it out pretty freely, right? Or not freely, but it's not going to be too difficult of a job, to be completely honest. So, yeah. Sceptile goes for Leaf Storm, it misses, that's really just a differential point. And yeah, game is over. I'm gonna let this play out and we'll be back in the next one. Also, very well played for Dina here, setting up. But also, I had some pretty decent misplays. Anyway. Now going into game 2, I'm trying to figure out how do I deal with this Guzzlord. That's the main thing I gotta deal with. I'm like, okay, well, if I can stop Trick Room from going up, then I can pretty freely take out the Guzzlord with Naganadel. Right. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe if I lead Sceptile. And then, I don't know, Talonflame. Then maybe I can get the taunt off onto the Clef, and Sceptile can take out something. But generally what the right play was here is the Morgrum Hyperior. And the idea with Morgrum Hyperior would have been, I set Reflect, or actually no, I fake out the Clefable. Oh, actually, no. I should have led Morgrum, and then... Yeah, Morgrum Hyperior. I go for... What's it, Max Rock? Plus... Fake out. And then I'd be able to set up Light Screen and such, and really boost up my special defense. And then I could just raw damage out that Guzzlord. Plus, what's it? Yeah, if I just raw damage out that Guzzlord, I'd be in a pretty decent spot. But no, instead I go for the Hyperior Talonflame lead, which is okay, but it really loses some mental herb, to be honest. So I go for the Clefable Iron Head and then a taunt into the rune. It doesn't matter who the taunt goes into, if Follow Me goes, the Clefable gets taunted, if Runer just gets taunted, that's no Trick Room. So, obviously Follow Me comes out, because there's no fake out pressure. So, taunt comes out, no biggie. But now we know that Clefable is Mental Herb, and then it doesn't die to Hyperior. That's because I chose to run Lumberry instead of Banned. Had it been banded, it would kill, but Yeah, what am I gonna do? At this point, I probably should have started going for damage onto Rune, but instead I go for the taunt. And yeah, that's kind of just how we end up here, right? I really should have been stalling out, like, Trick Room at this point. Going for chip damage onto the Runarigus, into the Cloth. Instead I go for more of a blitzy style, which is what my nature is. It's whatever. So, Fake Tears just come out. Into the Hyperior. We get it. Ironhead takes out the Clef. Or I should have done something like a Rock Slide. And then Taunt comes out onto the Rune. Cool, no more Fake Tears. But now that means we have a free switch in from a Rotom or a Guzzlord. And it's going to be doing massive damage. Okay. So, what the idea should have been here is to keep in my Hyperior, let it take its hits. Instead, I'm stuck in a weird spot. Because actually Hyperior isn't my end game, but or it shouldn't be my end game. But that's what I end up having to play, or that's what I'm playing for here. And that's kind of just a bad habit, like overvaluing that Hyperior. So I switch it out into the Sceptile, which is fine. But problem is that Sly is getting blitzed by the Guzzlord. Thankfully, I do get a little bit of damage out onto the Rotom, but it doesn't matter at all, really. So yeah, Guzzlord goes for its max again. Not much it's gonna do. Other than just taking out everything around the Talonflame. I don't know what I was thinking with the Talonflame there, really. Because Tailwind into a Trick Room variant is just is always going to lose. So, Flare Blitz goes into the Rotom, does the tiniest amount of chip. So I know it's more physically defensive, which is whatever. I also don't think I'm running the most. I think I am running a pretty offensive. No. I'm running Adamant. No, it is max like 252 attack. I'm not sure if it's Adamant or Jolly, but it's Expert Belt because I wanted to be. I think it is Adamant Expert Belt in order to get the kill onto the Escav. But of course, Escav didn't come. So I don't know why I'm stalling the Talonflame. But oh yeah, I still wanted to get the double protect out and all that. I'm stalling the Talonflame so I can get a freer switch in with everything else. So, oh yeah, my main idea with the double protect is that Dina could go for some very free damage off with the Rotom into the Sceptile, and then try doing some pretty good damage with the Guzzlord into the Talonflame. But she makes a smart call of the in case I protect onto the Sceptile, and just targets that with the Guzzlord, and then tries to go for the solid Hydro Pump play into the Talonflame, which is very solid play on her part. I just misread what the targeting would be. So, yeah, she's playing a very, very disciplined game with letting the Talonflame do literally nothing. That's really just what this game is here. I brought the wrong Amon as a lead, and now I'm screwed for it. Because everything in the back can't take a hit for a hard switch. So, this is what we go for, okay? We go for a Max Hyperior, which is wrong move, by the way. Very, very much the wrong move. But I think it was the right move in my mind, because I thought, oh, they can just double into the, what's it called? Naga if I max it, so it's not worth it. And I was going to, max guard in case there's something like, I don't know, anything going from the Guzzlord. I probably would have gone away with just a normal protect, and it would set me up very well for choking later. But yeah. And we see the Hydro Pump come out. It's whatever. So next, Naga comes out. And I am very, I am not wanting to hit this Rotom at all. And, I kind of threw away my end game with the Rotom. So I'm like, okay, I'll Sludge Bomb and, I don't know, Rock Ball into the Rotom slot to see what happens, right? I probably should have played for Flinch Hacks, to be honest. But that also wasn't guaranteed damage. I didn't know how much the Rotom would be taking. So, that's where we're at. This also sets me up in a very poor position for the end game here. So we get solid damage out onto the Rotom, right? There's not enough. And then Guzzlord gets to get a fat Draco out onto the Naga slot. And that means that next turn I lose. So yeah, very well played on Dina's end. I did not manage my end game at all. It was not good. So sorry. That's how that ended up. Yeah, I very much misplayed the mental end and the prep end. And my identification of win cons was just not there this week. So, yep. Next week will be Charles. I'll be trying to improve that for my game against Charles. Yeah, very well played on Dina's end. Very well executed. And almost like everything I tried doing was called out. So, very, very well played on her end. So I'll see y'all next week. And hopefully it's better play. Bye.